For this part of the video, we're going to talk about the upper end of the visible V8, the cylinder heads, modified cylinder heads from stock. There's major modifications. It's kind of hard to see here, but one of the things is these valves are not the stock valves. These valves are specially made, specially designed for this engine. They consist of a spring. It's the stock. These are stock springs. These are stock steel springs, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a keeper here, that D-clip right here. This holds the spring on, and you have a nylon washer that sits on top. And this sits on here. This is what goes on the valve stem. There's a valve stem seal right here. Basically, it's not so much a seal. It just keeps the valve stem keeps the spring in line, so the spring stays square at the top of the valve stem. Then there's a push rod. These are made out of. These replace the standard stock push rod. The stock push rod looks like this. And this is the modified. This is the modified push rod. Here it's made out of aluminum, and it has a stainless steel 080 threaded rod on the bottom of it. There's a lifter. These lifters are made out of Teflon. This is a Teflon lifter that rides on the camshaft. This has an adjustment. These are all adjustable. You can, the special adjustment tool, you loosen the nut here, and then you can adjust this stud back and forth, this rod, threaded rod, and the threaded rod sits in here like this, and this sits in your block. This rides on the camshaft. One of the things here is to install these. These are specially made valves. With the valve stems are made out of aluminum, and there's ABS guides for the valve guides, so it holds everything square. These valves are all lapped in, so they seal quite well. And these springs are set up so they work very good, and they'll hold in until about 6,000 RPM before they start to float. One of the problems I've had, and I haven't been able to correct right yet, is these valve springs do shatter at the higher speeds. If you run at the higher speeds very long, these valve springs will shatter. But as you can see, this is quite an improvement over the stock. The stock valves leave a lot to be desired. They're really not very good at all. This is your valve spring tool. This is what holds the valve spring in place down while you put the keeper. You put the little keeper on here. It's a it's a real process, pretty time-consuming process to do. And also here you have the rocker arm shaft. This is a modified rocker arm shaft. The stock rocker arm shaft is plastic, and it's not too good. So these are modified. Rocker arms. These have Teflon. This is Teflon riding surface for the Teflon riding surface for the top of the valve stem, for the top of the valves here. And there's holes here that the push rod fits into, like this. There's a hole here and the push rod sits there just like that. There's 16 of them. 8 intake, 8 exhaust, just like a regular engine. And here you have a line, one of the lubrication lines come up here, and they go inside of this copper shaft here, rocker arm shaft, and it lubricates. There's holes here. It's hard to see, but anyway, there's holes underneath here that lubricate each one of these rocker arms here. So this is quite a departure from the original. Plus, there's little O-rings here I've made out of a silicone tube that goes down over and seals these holes off, so that the rocker arm assembly, I won't fit it on here. It's kind of, you have to play with it here to get it on here. But the rocker arm assembly, as you can see, just like a regular engine, it uses rocker arm assemblies, rocker arm shafts that go down over these studs and go down over the studs, and these studs right here, and then these little caps fit on top. After you put on the little washer, after you put on the little seal, the little seal right there, put that seal on, and you just put nuts, regular 256 nuts on there, and you screw it down, and that's basically it. These heads have been proven to be very, very strong. No problem at all with the heads. These headers, the exhaust headers, are bolted on. There's bolts right here. They're bolted on. I have right now I've had some put some sealer in here to seal these off, to seal it off. So sometimes you get some oil coming out around here. So these are exhaust is open. You get quite an exhaust flow of air through here at higher speeds. Anything over about 2,000 RPM. There's quite a bit of airflow out here. Same way you have the intake here, your intake. So it's basically just like a head-on real engine. There's a lot of work went into it, but the only problem I've had with these so far is the biggest problem I've had is the springs shatter. These springs, these stock springs will shatter at high RPMs. At a higher RPM, they will shatter. So I've had a problem there that I haven't quite corrected. I'm looking into some different kind of springs to take the place of these. You can see the stock push rods and lifters aren't they're not too great here. They're not non-adjustable. You can't adjust it. It's not so hot. So anyway, that kind of. Then there's of course there's a head gasket. There's a head gasket that goes on here like this, and then of course it goes onto the block. And I'll go through that process in a later video of assembly. We'll just assemble the whole thing back together here so you can watch it be assembled.